like for example, if a fund manager gets an order to, you know, put a client into crypto, and there's two fund managers. One fund manager just buys the top 10, okay, just like a tracker, like, you know, like funds, they buy the top 10 in, you know, the S&P 500 or whatever. And then another fund manager goes, ooh, well, I'm going to start playing around with page 2 of CoinMarketCap, and I'm going to get this client into ARD or Bank and all these like little coins over here. And then let's say there's a crypto crash. So they both lose their money, but who do you think will lose their job? The person who put everything in blue chip cryptos, or the one that was dicking around with the smaller, lower cryptos with, you know, with like a 20 mil market cap?
Yeah, that guy.
This guy, yeah. Because what will happen, the client is, what the you put my money in a piss pot grossal coin 15 mil market cap. Why did you not do, you know, Bitcoin with 178 billion market cap or whatever? So you have to understand, all of these executors, fund managers, whatever, traders, they don't want to lose their job if the shit hits a fan, and they keep their job if they've put them into Bitcoin and Ether. We will go through the charts again. I guess it's the normal standard thing. We'll go through the charts, have a look at some trades, blah blah blah. Go through any questions, and then yeah, just have a chit chat. So Aussie Loonie, let's get both charts. We have daily and then the 4 hour. So as mentioned, I think in the previous video, we were, in fact it was a while back, but basically all of the markets were extended. So if we look at the daily chart, I think the last time we looked at them, that they were like this, and I was saying that, you know, we're going to have a pullback pretty soon. And what's happened over the last few days is that we've sort of had a pullback. Really what's happened is that it's just consolidated, it's gone sideways, which has allowed the EMAs to catch up, etc. So from a 8 EMA bounce and trail perspective, this is actually a good place to go long on the daily chart here. But then again, when you're jumping on the 4 hour chart, this looks like a head and shoulders, but I wouldn't be too worried. I think the neckline is something like this. It's pumped through. Yeah, it's interesting actually. Probably worth waiting on this one, because it has pulled back to kiss off the line, but we haven't had the kiss yet, so we'll see. Anyway, it's too iffy to place a trade. So yeah, we've got these pullbacks across the board. If anything, this is quite bullish. Big old candle going down like this. This needs at least a 50% pullback. So this is where the day trader in me comes out, because my day trader part of me goes, right, you need to go long here, have a tight stop below this low, and then take profit up here. Bear in mind, you'd only get like a 1R-ish play there, but it doesn't hurt putting a really tiny trade in. I think, yeah, I wouldn't worry about all these pullbacks at the moment. I think this is just normal. It's just pulling back. I mean, when you have, you know, almost a week of hard rallying, you are going to have a pullback. And if you're ever in doubt, always just look at the weekly chart. And then look what the weekly chart is doing. It's basically, yeah, massive blue bar. We're going to have a 50% pullback. And we've almost got that. So that's that. Aussie, Kiwi, yeah, all the Aussies are doing the same thing. In fact, this looks quite bullish. We've got a low test on the daily. So yeah, I guess yeah. See, this happens all the time. Trading is full of contradictions. It's full of contradictions. Because on one time frame, so the daily, it looks bullish. We've got a low test here. The lows have been rejected at this 0650 level, and the market's coming back up. And this pullback was needed anyway, because it was extended. But then looking at another time frame, like the 4 hour chart, this looks quite bearish, because this is actually, is this a 4 hour 8 EMA bounce and trail that you could do here, where we could short it? Now, whenever you're at a crossroads, there's two things really. You have to look at the time frames. The higher the time frame, the more reliable it is. But also, it depends on the strategy. So sometimes you can go long on one time frame and short in the other, and they'll both be in profit. But it just depends on the particular strategy. So in this particular scenario, so looking at so on the 1 hour and the 4 hour, it looks really bearish. So in fact, if we look on the 1 hour chart, we can then draw this. Oopsie, let's zoom out again. We can see here on the 1 hour, we've got this definite trend line, wherever, somewhere, something like this. Obviously, all trend lines are subjective. So yeah, this could be a short. So if you are going to short this, I would be very careful. I'd have a tight stop, so I'd have it above this 700 level, but risk very, very little. But again, when there's too much sort of uncertainty, don't place the trade. Yeah, all the.
It's too early because the day hasn't closed yet, right? So we could still.
Correct.
See that move.
Yeah. So again, this could easily fill itself back in again. So yeah, Aussies. And this looks prime for a dead cat bounce. But yeah. Too iffy. Right, Looney Swissy, haven't touched this in a long time, and I'm still not touching it. Moving on. Looney Yen, yeah, okay. Yeah, this is interesting. So this is expected, as I mentioned in the last update, we are expecting a pullback. And the thing is, what will go through your mind every single time is you could be expecting something like this, and it starts playing out. And then your mind will completely screw you over. It'll go, oh, this is a reversal, or this is just a pullback. Like, the market has this amazing capability of even making the world's best trader second guess him or herself all the time. So this is something you need to live with. It's like having a schizophrenic, not schizophrenic, what is a bipolar friend. Except your friend likes ruining your bank account. So yeah, I think it's a bit too early to pull the trigger in any of these really, unless you are putting little stabs in the market. So for example, if you are doing the 8 EMA bounce and trail, all you're doing is having little jabs at the market to try and get in. So like with this particular one, okay, you're a bit late from the 8, but let's say you were to go in on this. You would say go short here, or actually, you try and put an entry sell order here to try, yeah, just for a little pullback to the 8, and have a stop above this 5.0. So you'd have something like a 30 odd pip stop, but you'd risk very little, like 0.2%. So if it does bomb you out, it's fine. But if it does go in favour, great. It will then give you some profit, so that the next time you go in, you have less risk because, yeah. So that's that, but still haven't seen anything that's slapping me in the face. Okay, we have this Euro Aussie. So we've got this entry sell order up here. Now this is interesting. So I've put it way up here, and I think mainly because on the weekly chart, yeah, look at that. On the weekly chart, big old bar coming down here, 50%. Well, no, it's not really 50%. So I think actually I've been a bit stingy here, but. Yeah, I'd rather, yeah, I'm just going to wait with that one. You could potentially double entry this. Like you could go short here and again have your stop up here and then have another entry here. But no, I think I've left that there for a reason. Yeah, I just want to get in on a very good level because we have sort of an area of consolidation here. And this is the kissing the level before it bounces back again. So yeah, I'm leaving that there. That's cool. This is still in its compression, or sorry, its range, right in the middle, so no joy there at the moment. Euro Swissy, pullback day. But, whoa, look how bearish this is on the 1 hour chart. I'm taking this, baby. This is literally hitting the 8, bouncing off. We've got a high test on the 1 hour, and I'm going to put a tiny 18 pip stop on this, and I'm not going to risk much at all. So 1 second, just work out my risk. So from 50 divided by 18, yeah, I'm only risking 150 on this. So 18 pip stop, whoops, always make sure it's minus whatever your stop loss is, minus 18, and then I'll just edit this until I'm risking 150. Come on. There we go. Cool. So that's my trade there. If that bombs me out, I am completely fine. I will, mind you. Okay, I am getting out of that trade. I'm exiting. Whenever you, so this is just me being impulsive. Whenever you realise you made a mistake, just kill the trade, regardless whether it's in profit or not. So here I've lost minus 0.9 of a pip here, and I've realised the reason is that I was a bit impulsive because on the 4-hour chart, it's highly likely that we still have room that the market could just make a little move up here. So realistically, I want my stop a little bit higher. I want it to be a lot safer because there's still a possibility that we have this level of support now, resistance, that we could see an attack up here. So actually I want my stop up here. So what I will be doing is double entrying this. So I'll be going in again, but so instead of an 18 pip, it's actually going to be a 43 pip stop. And I'm going to split the risk on this actually. So 43 pip stop. So I'm only going to risk 75 quid. Yeah. So that's that one. And if it makes a run up for it, I'll place another entry sell here and then have a 20 pip stop. Yeah, that's better. 20. Much better. Cool. Does that make sense, what I did there? Sorry, I was rushing through that. But does that make sense? Yes, no. You guys can have your mics on, by the way.
Yeah, man.
Ah, cool. Sweet. Right. In fact, what I will do, I'm going to make this screen bigger so I can see all of you. Cool. So there we go. Cool. I can see your lovely faces now. Well, actually, I can't see any of your faces, just your names. Cool. Yeah, and they've got a double entry there. So that's that on the Euro Swissy, Euro Pound. Nope. Not much at the moment. Higgledy-piggledy, Euro Yen. Pullback day, like with everything else. And also, whenever you have these anticipated pullback days, it's important not to get too carried away, because what you could do is go, oh look, pullback day, and then start shorting everything, which means if you're wrong, all of your pullback trades are going to absolutely bomb you out. So what I like to do, because at the moment I think it's a pullback day, so we could the market's literally just resetting, maybe to continue the upwards movement. But there's always that probability that there is a chance that it could be a full reversal. I mean, if we just zoom to euro dollar, you'll see like all of these big old up and down. Like, for example, here's a massive movement to the upside. This was back in early March 2020. So the market's been falling down. It then explodes to the upside. So you're looking at this and thinking, okay, this is massively overextended. If you look at the weekly chart, it's like a vertical bar up. Right, we're going to have a pullback day. So we then have the pullbacks. And you're thinking, oh, okay, this is nice. It's pulled back exactly as we thought. Let's continue going up. But there's always that chance it's actually a full-on reversal. And then look what happens. Then you have this. And you're, shit, okay. And then the reverse thinking applies. And sometimes the market will just whipsaw you in and out, like euro dollar has. And so I personally don't like trading markets like euro dollar at the moment, especially when it looks like that. It's like giving my 3-year-old a crayon and saying, write my name. Shit, I just had a weird thought. My son doesn't even know my real name. Huh. I've never thought of that before. I'm just Daddy instead of Siam. Wow, that's weird. In fact, another weird thought, my dog doesn't even know my name. Sorry, I have not been taking drugs, if I'm sounding very weird. I had a late night. So, what am I on about? This is a weird update. So yeah, pull back. I'm going to turn my fan on. It's freaking boiling in here. Cool. And I'm back. So yeah, as I said, pullback day. I'm just being very cautious. Now, this looks beautiful. Every update, I always get teased by a little exotic. And looking at this, like, see, this is, the exotics always tease me. It's like, yeah. So, as you can see, the exotics have basically been trending upwards for a long time, since 2012. And so, obviously, the key direction is up. However, we have some sort of breakout, because the market is literally just trending downwards like an absolute monster. And in terms of the 8 and 21 EMA, it's adhering to it very, very well. So when I see things like this, I'm always thinking, oh man, this would be great to get in. But I guess a bit like with oil, I'm always wrong when it comes to I'm poor at executing when it comes to exotics. I always get churned out. So the part of me that's thinking right now is triple or maybe double entrying this. So we've had a pullback to the 8 EMA. It's actually gone beyond it, if we zoom in here, and it's being rejected. So this actually looks quite good. This looks bearish. In fact, that it could continue downwards like this. However, obviously there is still a possibility of it attacking this 8 EMA and this 10,500 level. So actually what I'm going to do, I am going to have a little dabble with this. I'm not going to risk too much, so I'm going to put double entry, so I'm going to short it here at market, and I'm going to have the stop for all of them above this 10,500 level. So I'm going to have it here, and then the low ball, in case it makes a run up to this 10.5, I'm going to have it at that level there. So with this particular one, I will get a full position in. So yeah, you got to be careful with the exotics that you know it's highly geared. So this stop loss, I need a 1125 pip stop. So I'm going to have a 1125 pip stop, but I'm only going to risk 150. So it's only 13p a pip for this particular trade, and then this one is 570 odd pip stops. So here we go. 570. Now it sounds crazy having a 570 pip stop or a 1,000 odd pip stop, but with exotics, because they're highly geared, this is more like having a 57 pip stop. So I wouldn't worry too much about that. And then again, edit my risk to 150. Cool. So that's my double entry. That's playing out. I am happy with that. Hello?
The red vertical line in the graph.
Which?
If you move to the right, there was like a red vertical line.
Yeah. So what date is that? That's the 23rd. That was from the last update, where I talked about that being 6 months from the low. So if we zoom out, in fact, I don't know why it's on that line. There we go. Yeah, it's there. So I think the low was 20th of March, and then 6 months later. Oh, actually, sorry, that should be 9. Sorry, I just wanted to see where 6 months forward from that low was. Basically, if we just get, was it the 5th of May? 1 second. Over deficit November. Yeah, I don't know if you saw this update, but basically I was showing previous crashes, etc., and how pretty much every massive crash has a stimulus pump or a sucker's rally, and it goes on for a long time. So this was the 1929 crash. We had that massive sell-off. Everyone got laid off job-wise, and then it just rallied. It rallied 50 odd % for 6 months. 6 hard months, and loads of people thought, oh, we're going back to normal, it's great, and then guess what happened? We then had the proper depression, and this is what's happening right now. So when we're looking at stocks, we're having this stim pump here, this suckers rally, except I think it's going to go a lot higher because the Fed is buying everything, and this has never happened before. And I was just thinking, where is 6 months forward from this low? So yeah, that's what that line is. I'm not sure why it went over to Euro Swissy though. Oh, Swedish krona. So that's that. So let's look at pound dollar. Pound dollar. Same thing. This looks great. We haven't had this big old pullback like we saw in the Aussies. So I actually want to go short on this. So we got that pullback to the 8 EMA now. So again, I'm going to double entry this just to be safe. So I'm going to short it here. I want my stop, I want it in a safe position. So by the time the 21 EMA catches up, like in a day or two, it's going to be down here. So you sort of have to extrapolate where it will be. So it'll be something like this over the next couple of days. So I think a safe place to have your stop will be definitely above this 5-0 level. So I'm going to have my stop here for both trades. So this one I'm going to have a 210 pip stop, so 210, and then I'm just going to have, let's move this back down, 150 risk again for that one, and then in case it makes a run up to this 8400 level, I'm just going to try and, and there's low there, I'll have an entry sell there, but where's my stop? Stop's in the same place, so we'll be 140 pip stop. So there we go, sell 140, change the risk, there, cool, yeah, happy with that. That is, trying to catch that bounce. I mean the 8 EMA bounce. Pound loonie, same thing, it's attacking that 20, plus we've got a bit of compression going here, so I think it may attack this 7-100 level actually, come to think of it, so not touching it for the moment. Pound Swissy, no. Pound yen, no, that looks bearish though. Look at the 4-hour chart, we've got this high test here in this downwards market. Is it, could we have a shoulder playing? Interesting. When you're looking at head and shoulders, this is how it looks. So this is exactly how a head and shoulders looks like when it's forming. Obviously hindsight analysis is great. Oh look, there was a head and shoulders, but when you're looking at it in real time, this is exactly what it looks like. So on the 4-hour chart, we are seeing this form. So again, like with anything, you always got that seesaw of probabilities you're playing up. But basically, we've got a shoulder here, we have a head, and we could have a potential shoulder here. Now it looks like the market attempted to retrace to this level here, and it's bounced off. But I think if it is going to create another shoulder, we're going to have a few more attacks around here. So what you do is you have an entry at the height of the previous shoulder, so this shoulder here. So you have an entry there, and then if you want to be super safe, you have your stop above the head. But I think you don't, a lot of the time you don't really need to. So I'll probably have my stop above this 13800 level, because if the market goes all the way up here, it has already voided the original premise of the trade. So yeah, I'm going to have my stop above this level here, and I'm just, so it's 130 odd pip stop. So, but I'm going to risk very little on this one. So I'm going to risk 150 total. So, but I'm going to double entry this again. So 75 on this particular one. So 130. Bring the risk down to 75 quid. There we go. But then in case it has a run up to here, I'll try and catch it again there. So then I'm going to have a 65 pip stop. There we go. So all I'm doing is I'm trying to catch a potential head and shoulders. So that's that one. So pound Kiwi. Oh, that looks bearish as well. Look at that 8 EMA bounce. Mind you, we've already got pound Aussie and where are the orders? So I'm just looking at my order tab. Do we have pound Aussie? Oh yeah, we've already got pound yen. Trying to catch that short. So that's pound yen. Sorry, that's head and shoulders. Yeah, so I've already got pound Aussie trying to do this 8 EMA bounce. So I'm not going to double up on that. So we've got that covered. Pound dollar. Looks bullish, doesn't it? It's breaking up. Haven't had the crazy pullback, but look at this on the 4-hour chart. This looks nice and bullish. So this is a bit odd because it looks like because we're shorting pound on others, but this one looks bullish. But I wouldn't get too worried about exposures like that. So here I'm actually going to go long at market, just one trade, and I'm having the stop below the 600 level. 93 pips. So I'm going in at market, 93 pips. Only, oops, 93 pips. I'm only going to risk 150 on that. There we go. So we've got precedence here because the market's made this low. It's basically attacked this previous resistance, or was this resistance band, which is nestled just above this double O level, and we're nicely safe below this. So yeah, I'm just going to leave that running. So that's good. Not do stocks in a bit. Kiwi. No, that's just having a pullback. Kiwi Swissy. Nope. Kiwi Yen. Nah, too risky at this stage. Oh, look at that on the 4-hour. Nestled right on that 21. No joy for me. Right. Okay, so we've got dollar. What's here? Dollar loonie. Ah, yes. So this was actually from the last update, I believe. And this is me just catching a... So this was an entry order. And I was trying to catch an 8 EMA bounce. So what's happened is the market... Because when I placed this, the market was all the way down here. And I was trying to catch this bounce back up to this 3,500 level. So I put an entry sell here. And it's pipped me in beautifully. So if we look at the 4-hour chart, it's a bit clear. You can see that we got put in by, wow. Normally it's the other way around. Normally I'm getting stopped out by a pip. But in this case, it looks like, Jesus Christ, that's on the 5-minute chart. I can't even see. Nice. Literally, that was perfect placement.
You need to frame that.
That is literally, it didn't even go. Let's look at the ask. Oh yeah, ask, yeah. That is literally perfect placement. Sweet. It's not often I do that.
I told you on that, I'm getting exactly the same.
Did you? Nice one. So yeah, that's not.
For that? Was it because of that line of resistance at the bottom? Did it look like it was a rectangle that formed really, and then it went down from it?
Yeah.
To the bottom bit. Is that what it's all about?
Yes. So if you look here on the 4-hour, it's was it clear on? Yeah. On the 4-hour, we saw this this mess, this noise. It looks like a wedge. It also looks like a rectangle, but whatever it is, it had a baseline around.
Angular looking on the 1-hour chart. Yeah.
Was it the 1-hour?
Yeah. It looked a bit more like a rectangle there.
Ah, yeah. Here we go. But whatever the case, the base of this structure was this level here. And it's just below that 3,500 level, so that's why we put that entry order just below it.
Yeah.
So
we were wrong for ages. It took a long time to come back to it. I thought it was just going to keep going, isn't it?
yeah.
So,
Yeah, so the market does that. It'll lull you into a false sense of security because it's like, oh my god, it's about to smash into my entry order. But the stronger, so the stronger a market smashes into your level, the more probability, or the higher the chance that your trade's actually going to be in profit. What I hate is the market dribbling into your entry. I hate it when it dribbles. So, like, yeah, in this case, the market is smashed up into it, which gives us more probability that it's going to have a bounce back, you know, a pullback at least. So, now, although I'm being facetious when I'm saying that it's perfect placement, I'm not fooled, I'm not under any illusions that this could still be a losing trade. So, the goal was to get in on this bounce of the 8 EMA. We got in, but this still could pull up, continue going up. So, yeah, but anyway, makes a nice change because recently I've been stopped out by like a pip a fair few times. So here we've got dollar Swissy. What happened here? So this was in that same update. It looks a bit messy at the moment, but I think what we're trying to do, yeah, here we go. So if we look at the daily chart, I'll zoom this in. So we had this breakout from this compression. So it broke out, and we had this big old candle to the downside. And so I wanted to pull back to try and catch that 8 EMA, which is looking like it was going to hit that 9600 level if we zoom in a bit. So we put in a double entry order, so one here and one above it. And then what happened is it literally steam trained into it. So you had that next day, put both in, it almost stopped us out. So that again was great stop placement. So it just because it attacked that 500 level, the 50 level, and our stops were just beyond it, and then it's just rolled over since. So those two trades are in nice profit at the moment, and that looks to continue. So now actually, this is the first time I've seen it since we've triggered it. We can actually move our stops now to a safe area. So what I'm going to do, I'm just going to move them just above that 9600 level, because we could still have another move back up here, but it's unlikely. So yeah, we're now locked in profit there because the net short is there. So I've just moved all stops below that net short. So just a quick one. Is anyone not sure what this net short label means? Please be honest. There's no such thing as a silly question.
Not a question, Simon, but I guess one thing that I found is obviously when I'm laddering into 18 ounces and
yeah,
I've got like 3 or 4 on the go, and I know at some point it's going to turn on me. I guess it's kind of playing in my mind, like I know I've had a good run, I'm like 600 pips up, and I know if I ladder in the next trade, this could be the one that, because you're always going to get stopped at some point.
Yeah. This
was like it's short like 1200 pips, and you're like, I really want to snatch. That's when it starts playing with my mind. Always,
yeah. This is what I forgot. I need to find that PDF. But the FCA did a big study into retail trading probably 2 years ago now, maybe 3, and they're trying to, because it's well known that most retail traders just lose on the markets. And they're trying to they got all the data from a lot of the brokers, and they're trying to understand or trying to find some patterns. Like why are retail traders losers, in the big grand sense. And what they found with most brokers is that retail traders are correct more than they're wrong. So in terms of picking the direction, we as a mass public are actually not that bad at guessing the correct direction. What we absolutely suck at is staying in a trade. So the reason why we lose is because our losers are always bigger than our winners. So that's why we have a negative risk to reward ratio, as in the general mass, even though they get the direction correct. And yeah, we have that devil on our shoulder that is always saying snatch profit, snatch, snatch, snatch. So like there's, again, right, internally I've just had to silence the little bastard on my shoulder with this trade, because looking at this on the 1 hour on the daily chart, look at this big old red bar here. We've got 2 lovely shorts in here. It's moved away nicely, and so part of me went, take profit sign, big old bar, it's going to pull back. So I've had to like piss off. I'm just going to leave it, and I'm fully accepting that this could pull all the way back here, but I'm just in this to. So now yeah, so I want to continue adding to this. So what I want to do, the next trade I'm going to place here is I'm anticipating the pullback. So I'm not going to try and capitalize on that, but I'm trying to extrapolate where this 8 EMA is going to come down, and I reckon it's going to have another attack, probably not up to the 8 EMA, but at least back to this 5-0 level. So what I want to do now is place an entry sell here, just below that 5-0 level, and I'm going to place a stop, yeah, above this candle here. I know it's just below, yeah. So a 40 odd, I know it's just below that 900 level, but I think by that time the 8 EMA will be down. So yeah, so entry here, stop loss here, so 46 pips stop. So entry sell 46p pips, and then again I'm just going to risk 150. There we go. Cool. But yeah, if you're doing this, the last trade is going to bomb you out regardless, so I think you just have to accept that, Habib. And this is why with my Go Large account I blow it 3-4 times a year, but probably once every 18 months I'll 10x it, I'll 5x or 10x it, and it's because I'll get into a massive rally or fall. So oh yeah, going back to the net short thing, so I just saw the comment box. Yeah, so basically if you have one or more than one trade open going in the same direction, like this one here, we have a short here and a short here, the net short is basically showing you below everything below this blue line you're in profit, everything above this blue line you're not in profit. So by me moving those two stops below this, it means that even if we're bombed out now, it'll make me a tiny profit. So yeah, and this blue line is actually quite handy for if you're hedging, but I'm not even going to talk about hedging because I don't want you to hedge. It's dangerous. So on the FXCM app, if you have 2 open trades, it only shows the net amount, right? Can you elaborate on that question, mate? So I'm not too sure. Right, so let's moving on. Dollar, Chinese yuan. Oh yeah, this looks short. Again, I don't really want to go long in the yuan. This is it's too much. See, this is another occasion where fundamental analysis is playing with my technical trading here, and it shouldn't. You should park your fundamentals at the door. But yeah, looking at this just from an 8 EMA bounce perspective, it looks like a good short actually. No, it's too much. Dollar yen, not interested. Looks shit. Don't really. Dollar Swedish krona. Look at that high test. I'm sorry, I'm gonna have to have a look. Wait, let's look at the bigger picture first. Bigger picture, weekly chart. Oh dear lord, it's due for a pullback. No, I want to short this. I really do. It just looks overextended on the weekly. But on the daily, it's looking really weak. So what's happened here is that it's with 8 EMA, it's hit that 8 EMA and this 3000 level, and the market's completely rejected it, which is giving us a really good place to put our stop. Really good place. In fact, screw this. I'm only going to risk a little bit. So it's only 1160 pip stop. I'm going in at market. So 1160. Click away. So risking 150 on this. Yeah, screw that. It's fine. That's a good stop. Basically, yeah, the market's already been up here. It's got rejected, and it's right on this 3000 level, so it's safe. It's a pretty safe stop loss. So yeah, I'm just gonna have one little stab at this. I'm not gonna put too much in. Okay, so you got that. So look at this question. So I had 2 open trades on dollar the other day when I opened it up on your mobile phone app. There's only one line showing the position instead of two. You're probably looking at the summary page on your app. On your mobile phone, if you look at the open positions and then click a trade, it will show you that one trade. But if you look at the summary tab, it will show you one line. So no, yeah, I wouldn't worry. So that's that dollar. So that's the dollars done. Let's look at oil, just so I can cry a bit. Okay, crying over. Gold. Gold's coming. Yeah. I don't really want to go short on gold at the moment. This, even though it looks like it's due for a pullback here, yeah, it's not. No good opportunities to jump in unless you're just taking a punt. I don't really want to take a punt. No, same with silver. Okay, stocks. Yeah, the Fed pump. The Fed is just pumping. Pump. When will it end? No one knows. Will it end? Yes. Or the pumping won't end. The rollover will come though.
Sorry, just a quick question regarding US oil.
Yeah.
It's gonna, if it continues going up, it looks like it's gonna hit the 200 EMA. Is the 200 EMA a factor when it comes to oil or not?
I'm not sure. I don't know. I know it is for general stocks, but I'm not sure for oil. There's just too much fundamentals. I mean, there's all sorts of oil deals going on at the moment. I don't know if you heard. Whoops, get away with these. OPEC agreement. Where is it? Yeah, oil ends lowers extension of OPEC output cuts for blah, 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 blah. Yeah. So basically everyone is frantically running around trying to make deals to make sure we don't get negative oil again. So even though that issue still has not been fixed.
So they're just hedging basically, aren't they?
I wouldn't look. I'd take this with a big truckload of salt, because what happened is that before we had that negative oil situation, OPEC had an agreement that, hey, we're gonna ease pumping, etc. And then what happened? Negative oil. So I think I wouldn't look into this too much, but
yeah, I mean, the contract runs out the 17th. I'm not trading. I'm just keeping a very close eye.
Yeah.
It'll be interesting to see what happens in a week's time then. So
I know it's absolutely crazy. So looking at stocks, FTSE, same thing. If anything, this looks like a nice buy for the 8 EMA bounce. But yeah, I'm literally flat. I have no equity trades at the moment. And look at the Nasdaq. Nasdaq is at all-time highs. Huh? Oh, this is ridiculous. Yeah. So it's interesting. So there was a troll. I forgot, Twitter, YouTube, I can't remember, saying, Siam, blah blah blah, you are the worst trader in the world. You missed out on the Nasdaq rally. And yeah, I have. Doesn't make me a bad trader. It's like saying, I don't know, it's like talking to a scientist and going, oh, you're the world's worst scientist because you didn't invent the cure for cancer, or you didn't come up with the solution of blah in another field, or not. No, that's a bad analogy. I think the way I look at things, I just look at things differently to most people. I'm not saying it's right. In my opinion, I think it's the most efficient way of looking at things. But again, I am wrong a number of times. But I always look at. I'm constantly weighing up probabilities and low risk, high probability outcomes. So, for example, every crash in history pretty much has had some sort of suckers rally. Even before central banks existed and buying up their own stock, etc., we've always had a pullback. So normally 50% roughly. So this is pretty standard, okay? So, but it's very rare that the markets go beyond 50% on a pullback. So when looking at this and going back to, what day is this? Early April, mid-April. Looking at this, it's like, okay, looking at what the market has done throughout all of history, there's a much higher probability that the market will roll over now, okay? And when you combine that with what the hell is happening in the world, where the whole world has basically been kneecapped, businesses have been forced shut, everything's going down. Global GDP is falling off a cliff. Tax revenue is falling off a cliff. Unemployment's going through the roof. Debt and currency creation is going through the roof. Like, if you look at every fundamental out there, it looks like an absolute massacre, economically speaking. So when you combine that and then you look at the chart and go, right, statistically speaking, we 8 times out of 10 we see a rollover from a 50% pullback. It makes you not want to go long. Now, when you're looking at stocks and how really since 2012 we've had this, the Fed will back everything, so risk is on. Aussie yen goes up, markets go up. This is a relatively new occurrence, so everyone is so myopic when looking at stocks. And just because over the last 8 years, this has happened where, right, the Fed's pumping, go long on stocks. It's like a self-fulfilling prophecy, like that self-licking lolly. What's the word? I can't think of the word. But yeah, a self-fulfilling prophecy, so to speak. So this is why I've been reluctant to go long, around with any of the indices around this area, because statistics show and history shows that there's more odds that it will roll over. And also, the more that you print, and that's all they're doing effectively, they're effectively printing. It will get to the point where the markets will lose confidence in the integrity of the dollar. This is so crucial here. The moment the market or the world loses confidence in the integrity of the dollar, simply because there's so many dollars sloshing around the market, the stimulus, I can't think of a better example, it just won't touch the sides. Bit crude, sorry. There are no ladies here today. Sorry. It just won't touch the sides, and then it will just roll over. So it doesn't matter if they print another 10 trillion, 20 trillion, it will make no difference, because it'll be like Zimbabwe dollars. So this is why I didn't trade this. And yeah, I've missed out on shitloads of profit, but I'm looking at things in the long, I just look at, R multiples. There's way more R in not going, in sticking to, my rules, so to speak. So hopefully that makes sense. But yeah, I've missed out. Trading and investing is not all about getting every single move, because otherwise you won't be able to sleep, because I missed out on this big bar, then I missed out on this big bar, then I missed out on this big bar. No, you don't need to worry about that. Anyway, moving on. So stocks are doing its thing. Let's look at the questions. What have I missed? Sally, no, I haven't got my shorts on that risk account. I got stopped out. When I say I got stopped out, I got margin called. If you ever keep them, because I was going larger than that. So yeah, I'm completely out. So yeah, I've actually lost a fair bit of money with my risk account. So, but I'm waiting. In fact, it's actually quite good that the markets go, retracing this high, because it's giving us another opportunity to capitalize on big old falling around sort of October, let's say, when it's more likely to roll over again.
When you're saying that, are you thinking that's going to be around the time of the presidential election in the States?
Yeah, like most of the time. I think it's like between 70 to 85% of all crashes happen in October. And that's because volatility comes back in the markets, because after summer, because volatility tends to die out over summer, because everyone goes on holiday, and markets tend to crash around September, October time. And also we've got the November elections. So, and you know how Trump is obsessed with the stock price. He does not want to leave office where the stock price is lower than when he went in. He wants to be able to leave office and go, hey, when I was president, I came in at this level and the market was this level. But
I
so
just think he's going to throw a tantrum if he does. I think that'll be boys out the van time.
oh yeah, he's probably already doing that to the plunge protection team. Yeah, and Rob, spot on. Some will, some won't. So what next? I say that all the time. Nice one. MK, did you see that FXM is starting to do spot oil, i.e. no contract expiries? Nice. That'll be interesting. It'll be interesting to see how that works when one contract goes to zero and the next month's contract doesn't. So yeah, that'll be interesting. Anyway, Bitcoin, next one. So we looked at stocks. So on FXCM is looking identical. Like that is an identical representation of, let's just look at, I don't know, the JER30. No, maybe not that one. Maybe, sorry, the S&P. Look at that compared to Bitcoin. 3, 2, 1. Very similar. As I said, at the moment there is a correlation with stocks and Bitcoin. So, yeah. But the thing is, what does concern me, so bear in mind, where is my Chrome? I've lost my Chrome. Here's my Chrome. The thing that is really concerning me at the moment with cryptos is Tether. So if we just compare Tether to this, like as I've mentioned, every time there's a Tether pump, Bitcoin moves up like 2 weeks later, 2 to 3 weeks later. We had another massive Tether pump over here. Bitcoin moves up, it moves it all the way up to 10,000. We had another big pump. So this is what's happened. We've literally, what day was that? So this was the 14th of May. So about a month, 3 weeks ago, we had a massive Tether pump where it took the price, it took Tether from 6.37 billion up to 8.8 billion. That's ridiculous. It's just plucked out over $2 billion out of thin air. And then what was this? On the 1st of June, so last week sometime, it went from 8.8 billion to 9 billion. So another $200 million just out of nowhere. So the thing that's concerning me is, even though I'm really bearish on Bitcoin, and I believe a couple of down bars like this is likely to happen, because we are starting to smother this trend line, which is just trucking up here. The part of me is thinking, shit, look at all these Tether pumps. It's just going to zoom even more.
It's been trickling up as well, so I was checking this morning.
What has, sorry?
Bitcoin hash rate as well, it's been trickling up again now.
Yeah. It's, in fact, open mic time. What do you guys think? Is there anything I've missed? I'm just here. Personally, I'm bearish, but I'm concerned that we've just had this almighty 2 point. Was it? Let's just work this out. So 6.37 minus all the way up to 9.19. We've had a $2.82 billion pump in Tether. What does everyone else think?
I'm in the same boat. I'm bearish, but yeah, this Tether pump could push it, and I've got a feeling if it goes about 10k, you'll see like a rally as well, because everyone's looking at this 10k level at the moment.
Yeah, I mean, this could easily pump it all up to, up to 12,000 before we see. Yeah. It's It's no. Anyone have any other thoughts? I don't really watch any YouTube videos on cryptos and stuff. I know some of you guys probably do. Is there anything that has popped up which I'm not familiar with?
Not that I've seen over the last week. I mean, I'm just keeping an eye on the news and stuff and what's going on. But yeah, like I'm still bearish because I mean, if you look at a weekly chart, which is what I tend to look at more these days with Bitcoin. We've had so many where we're due a correction. That screams to me it's going to dump. And then that just ruined my heads.
Yeah. So we have something like this. Oh yeah, this is a Jesus. I've only just noticed it. We have let's draw a line instead. There is some sort of wherever you draw this line. Let's say it's that. There's a compression. Whether it's that line or where's my line gone? Or if it's something like this. There's definitely compression. But the thing is, it could easily just go, oh look, here's a double bottom, so double bottom, and then spike up.
There's so many ways to read it.
Yeah, so many ways. I think probably, I don't want to call it. I don't want to call it, but I think if we just get a big, can I make this fatter? I need a fat. I think probably what may happen is we've got this double bottom, we've got the neckline or the bum line, and I think with this tether, whoa, I don't want that to happen. Yeah, we'll probably, what is this, from this line, so it's 10,000 to, let's call it, yeah, 5,000. So yeah, we could have a 5,000 point, 5,000 takes up just to this level here, so it could breach these highs over here, and then maybe have a almighty smackdown back to back to 10. Shit. Maybe. I don't know. I'm not sure. Even though on the weekly chart, yeah, it looks bearish as. Well, it's due, not bearish, it's due for a pullback at least. Thoughts, people? No? No
I
thoughts?
think I'm just holding tight for it. I'll just see what way it goes and
Yeah.
wait for the pullback, even though it might take a few. I mean, I've been in cash for like 2 months now, so I'm not just going to follow it now.
Yeah. There's another part, again, I think the theme of this video today is contradictions, because I've got a pot of money, let's just call it my crypto pot, and I'm personally splitting this up into 5 sections. Nope, that's 4. Sorry. So, yeah, lifting my skirt up, I've got basically 100,000 sterling that I've allocated for crypto. And at the moment, I've got 25... No, I've got 20... Oh, shit. Yeah, I've literally just got 20 grand sat in Kraken. In fact, I'm not sure. I need to double check. Let's double check. I'm just going to do this off screen for the moment. I just want to... The problem is when you open loads of different accounts and loads of different trading accounts, you tend to lose track on where you've put stuff. I need to do a consolidation of accounts at some point. So yeah, okay. So here's my Kraken account. I've got 20 or 19 and a half sat there at the moment. So what is that? So yes, it's 19. And I've got other, yeah, and I've got 4 more lots of 20k basically. So one argument of what I'm basically thinking here is that if you look at, just go back to bog standard investing. Bog standard investing is basically don't time it. So that's like that's the one thing that everyone is taught, like from day one. Don't try and time the market, and you need to pound. PCA. So you need to pound cost average in. So yeah, there's one thing saying, well, with this uncertainty where it could explode up, it could go down, it really doesn't matter if I put the first fifth in the market now, just establish a base. So yeah, again, I need to have some proper thought on that. It does seem wise to have the first fifth in, and even if it does smash back down, it doesn't matter too much. So yeah, I think I'm leaning into this for this first chunk. So let's get out of there. Yeah, sign out. Anyway, that's crypto. Let's have a look at. And the thing is, I won't be going into Bitcoin. I'd actually be going into Ether.
Siam, I've still got a chunk of money in ONT.
Okay.
I've taken out quite a few chunks, but it's a sizable little chunk in there. It's moved up quite a bit. I'm not sure what it is today, but it was 5.7 the other day, which is percentage increase on where it's been in the past.
Yeah, I just think this looks more bearish than the others, to be fair. Looking at that chart there, this, yeah, we've got. It just looks a bit bearish. What is it compared to Bitcoin? Bitcoin. Okay, so it's pulled back a little bit compared to Bitcoin, but I'm not sure. I think
it's doing quite well with Ether. I traded some in Ether, OMT to ETH.
Ooh, bearish rectangle here. Look at that. So actually, this looks bearish compared to Ether. And the thing is, like with that video which I put up yesterday, I think a lot of money will be ploughing into Bitcoin and Ether, but because everyone's trying to have programmable crypto, and because Ether's like the established one, a lot of that will enter Ether. So looking at the Ether Bitcoin ratio, I believe this is going to really shoot up. So here's my previous line. So
yeah, I was going to do both sides, because sometimes if Bitcoin rallies, I don't want to miss the first Bitcoin pump either, and then I can move.
Yeah, exactly. But then when you're looking at this here, what we are definitely seeing is something like this. So again, full of contradictions again. Look at this wedge here. What does this wedge show? This wedge shows that we could see a move back down to here. Trading. It's a freaking mind fuck.
Previously, when Bitcoin's gone up, it's been ETH follows it fairly soon, and ONT follows later and
much
exceeds the percentage.
Yes. However, in the last Bitcoin rally, look what Ether did against Bitcoin. It basically clawed all of this ground back against Bitcoin. So it actually grew faster than Bitcoin, Ether, in this last thing. But looking at this pattern on the daily, that looks bearish. Ugh. But then this could all very easy go, bum line, see ya. So I think I have analysis paralysis at the moment.
So I was thinking about this on the weekend, and part of me was just like, do I just go in the market and just switch off for a year?
Yeah. So at the end of the day, like we're in this for the medium to long term. We're not in this for the short term, are we? So, well, I'm not.
Yeah,
so really, it's like buying a house and trying to revalue it every week. If you buy a house with the aim of a capital appreciation play, you're not going to revalue your house every month. So yeah, right. Okay, so got some questions. Stephen, is it worth holding the old portfolio such as Cardano, List, Metal, Stratus, etc.? I exited them like 2 years ago, and to be honest, I haven't. I think for the moment, yes, I would. With I think the most bullish case for cryptos is literally the big money coming in, and the big money is not going to be dicking around with anything less than, I don't know, the position 10 on CoinMarketCap. Because a lot of these billionaires and family offices, they'll be getting execution from banks or crypto executors, so to speak, and they, as in terms of sort of like for example, if a fund manager gets an order to put a client into crypto, and there's two fund managers. One fund manager just buys the top 10, okay, just like a tracker, like funds, they buy the top 10 in the S&P 500 or whatever. And then another fund manager goes, ooh, well, I'm going to start playing around with page 2 of CoinMarketCap, and I'm going to get this client into ARD or Bank and all these like little coins over here. And then let's say there's a crypto crash. So they both lose their money, but who do you think will lose their job? The person who put everything in blue chip cryptos, or the one that was dicking around with the smaller, lower cryptos with like a 20 mil market cap?
Yeah, that guy.
This guy, yeah. Because what will happen, the client is, you put my money in a piss pot grossal coin, 15 mil market cap. Why did you not do, Bitcoin with 178 billion market cap or whatever. So you have to understand, all of these executors, fund managers, whatever, traders, they don't want to lose their job if the shit hits the fan, and they keep their job if they've put them into Bitcoin and Ether. Simple as that. EOS, Cardano, Chainlink. Oh, that's not, still it's not top 10, but Chainlink has lots of connections with enterprise. So I think that's what's going to happen, and it probably isn't. It's always worth having some in privacy coins like Monero, So
one sign I also look for, if you scroll up on that list, look where Tether is.
I know, it's ridiculous.
9 billion sitting in Tether. It's just like, that to me says people are waiting for things to go down before they buy in.
Yeah, it is.
Because that's what happened last time. I've been keeping an eye on Tether. And the last time we had a dump, we had literally, I think it was like something like 7 billion in Tether. And as soon as that dump happened, within like 3 hours, Tether went like down to like 10th because people were just laddering in there.
Yeah. It's interesting. It's just, Neo, so what was this? A year and a half ago, Da Hongfei, the founder of Neo, said nothing will happen with Neo until Neo 3.0 comes out. So, and here we go. If you look at, and it's similar with ontology. I think Da Hongfei, he mentioned something about potentially linking Neo with ontology a lot more down the road. But yeah, it's worth having a look at. Yeah, just like Ethereum is going through a massive structural change at the moment from proof of work to proof of stake. Neo is also going through a massive structural change. So I still like Neo. I just think at the moment I'm just going to play with Ether and Bitcoin. In fact, now I think about it, for this first chunk, this first fifth, I'm just going to split 50-50 Bitcoin Ether and be done with it. And I'll keep this lot to capitalize on moves down. So that's that. Opinion on storing Ethereum on Revolut. Okay, and Coinbase. So is it Bijan or Bijan? Sorry if I got it wrong. Basically, anything you have on Revolut, you don't own that. A good tip is that if you don't have the private key, you don't own it. So if it's on Coinbase, you don't own it. If it's on Revolut, you definitely don't own it because it's more of a tracker on Revolut. So personally, get the crypto, put it in a private wallet. Even hell, if you've got Ether, just my Ether wallet is what I've always used. Effectively, you remember with crypto, the only thing, like, you have all these fancy wallets, you have all these ledgers and these USB ledgers, etc. But what are they doing? All they're doing is protecting two things. Let's go forward. So all you have is you've got a public key and a private key. Okay. So whenever you're confused, just always go back to the basics. And this is the basics. The public key is basically your sort and account number of a bank account. Okay, that just identifies where and what your bank account is and where it is. And your private key is effectively your PIN. That is it. So if someone knows your public details, so like your sort account and account number, that's fine. They can't access it because they don't have your PIN. So really, when it comes to crypto, if you don't know your private key, you don't own it. And all I do is I just cold store them. Just write them down on paper. Put plastic over it, put it in a safe, duplicate it, store it in another location, all that sort of stuff. You don't need fancy USB sticks and stuff like that. So yeah, that's just my opinion. So
I like my ledger because it's just easier.
Yeah, true. Everyone's different.
The thing with ledgers, people are scared if you lose your ledger, you're going to lose your cryptos. As long as you've got your 25-word seed for the ledger, you can restore that on another ledger and your coins will always come back.
Yeah.
So I've just stored that seed in like a safe off-site, not at home. So even if my ledger was lost, and also on my ledger I've got two accounts, one's a fake account, so something's going to my head. I'm like, look, I've got no cryptos, I can just log it. I should have said that.
Yeah.
Yeah. they've got like, you can have like fake accounts on your ledger as well, so they can't really access your cryptos.
Yeah. So I've got a ledger, and those 25 words I've put in the crypto book. So my crypto.
Yeah, a while ago.
Yeah. So my crypto book actually has those 25 words, and Ellie has the cipher. So she knows on page X at this line, the fourth word in is the first word, and blah blah blah. This is when I was really paranoid. So, yeah. Let's move on. So, where were we? Cryptos, blah blah blah. Yeah, that's it. I think. Bot. Yeah, okay, so let's have a look at the bot. Bot's had a bit of a tumble. Well, bot's not had a tumble. Just some of the trades have gone down a bit, but that's all good. Someone said someone said that on the closed tabs the P&L was in dollars. That's now been changed, so it's now in, oh Jesus Christ, this was trades in profit. I'll change that little label. Yeah, so that's now in pounds. It doesn't really make a difference, but what is this trade? So yeah, there's no real update here, to be honest. Just let it do its thing. Yeah, it's got a couple of losing trades at the moment, but all is good. Okay, before we go any further, we have a lot of trades running at the moment, and they're moving. So dollar, Swedish krona, okay, it hasn't actually moved that much. I just looked on my thing, it said 150 pips in profit, but again, on an exotic, that's not much. So yeah, that trade, if you place that, you should be in profit a little bit, so nothing really there. We have pound dollar, that trade that we placed not long ago, that's moving up nicely. I'll leave that for now. What else do we have? Dollar Swissy. Yep. So those trades are still moving down, that's alright. What else do we have? Dollar Swissy, dollar Looney. Was that placed today? No, that was the previous one, but yeah, that's still doing that. Euro Swissy, Euro Swedish krona. So that's what we placed today. That's, yeah, it's just doing its thing. And all the others, yeah, in fact, they're just moving. So yeah, I think that's it. I am out. Unless you have any questions, please hit me. Oh, hey Alex.
I have a few problems with your volatility video. Is it okay if we talk about it a bit?
That's an Evo question. So yeah, we'll need to chat with Evo about that one. I saw your email this morning. I haven't been able to read it properly.
Okay.
But yeah, that's an Evo question because that goes down. Yeah. So, but yeah, we will get to that. So
okay.
That
Cheers.
one. So yeah, because I guess the Evo is the talent, and I am simply the. All I've done is I've gone, right, this is what we need. This is what the bot should look like. This is the capabilities of the bot. Please make it happen. And for years and years and years, I've never found any coders that have been able to, do that. And then all of a sudden, Evo comes along and he does it. So Evo is the talent. He is the thing. He's the person that is the wizard behind the scenes. All I am is just the trader. So there are some things in terms of the coding or whatever that is beyond me. So yeah, it's annoying. It's a bit like, yeah, I feel like. So when you look at Elon Musk versus Jeff Bezos, Musk he does everything. He's the chief engineer on SpaceX, so he knows every intricacy of all of his products, his cars, his rockets, his everything. Whereas then you have someone like Jeff Bezos who has zero technical knowledge on any of his products. He's more of the businessman. He's like, right, I need this to happen, and he gets clever people to do it. So unfortunately, I just don't have a technical mind. I'd like to be like Elon, but I'm just not. So I guess I fall more anyway, bad analogy. So is there a backup plan re-Evo? I wouldn't worry about that, Joy, don't worry. You don't need to worry about that. So Yeah. Cool. So what is this? Sorry, I've just had some questions on the chat box. So one question was, can I confirm, in my opinion, whether the old Kryptonian alt should be converted to Bitcoin or Ether? Yeah, I personally would. If you're in the old Kryptonian portfolio, I would just go to Ether, personally. And Bitcoin. Crazy quote from the government today: 30% of all working adults in the UK are now being paid by the government. Jesus, yeah. And guess what? When furlough ends, they're all going to be jobless. Or not all, some of them. Yeah. So, yeah. Cool. Well, any other questions whilst we're here? Did that video help yesterday regarding that part 1 video of blah, blah. Where is it? If I put it here. Oh, come on, internet. Wow, things get pushed down quite quickly, don't they? Yeah, this one. Did you all manage to watch this one? My simple case for 50k Bitcoin.
Yeah, it's very good.
Cool.
I'm patiently awaiting video 2.
Yeah, okay, we'll release that very soon. Yeah, this is, in fact, I'm just curious, are there any questions about that or any things I've missed out? I know in that video I was actually aiming to get this first part of the video done in about 5 minutes so I can go on to this next bit, but for some reason it took 18 minutes just to do all this. But yeah, when I idiot check everything and I go back to, you know, this equation and I look at all of the, you know, the highly probable inflows, like let's say I'm wrong, let's say of all this money only 0.5% enters cryptos, like we're still looking at 450k Bitcoin. It's just ridiculous. And I think in reality I'm being massively pessimistic over here, because when you're looking at this lot, it's not as simple as going, right, all of these people are going to put 0.5%, because what I've found, and in fact there have been studies on this, is that forgive the way I word this, there's a more delicate PC way to say it, but the poorer a person is, the higher in percentage of their pot that they have punts on things, if that makes sense. I can't word that, there must be a better way to word it, but basically what I'm saying is that the lower wealth a person on potential punts or investments, they will risk a higher percentage of their pot. That's probably a better way to say it. So in this case, what I'm basically saying is that for people that are worth between $10,000 to $100,000, let's say they were going to, of their whole net worth, they would, you know, probably put anywhere between 1 to 10% of their net worth in, because a lot. I'm being massive black tar brush here, by the way. And then it will go up, and then maybe 100k to 1 million, it may be something like, you know, 1 to 5%. Then millionaires, it may be, you know, 1 to 3%. And then not trillionaires, billionaires, it could be, you know, 0.1 to 1%. Does that sort of make sense? So in reality, I actually think it's going to be a lot more money that enters cryptos, because there's a lot. Like, look at this. There's $140 trillion out there of wealth from basically 500 million people, and these, like what a lot of these people may do is go, oh, well, screw it, or I want to get into crypto, fuck it, I'll just buy one Bitcoin. And so they go out and buy a $10,000 Bitcoin, but look at that, all of a sudden they've just put 10% of their net wealth into this. And also there are some millionaires and billionaires over here who've gone out and put 25% of their net worth into it. So you have people like Mike Novogratz and other billionaires. Paul Tudor Jones, the world's greatest ever trader, is now really ploughing into crypto. So you're going to see some massive billionaires putting way more than 25% of their worth into crypto. Elon says he's got 0.25 Bitcoin. I think he's lying. You just know he's got more than that. So, yeah. So, yeah, as Paul said, they're chasing the jackpot. And by the way, it's not a bad thing. I am chasing the jackpot. Everyone's chasing the jackpot. And that's why if I ever come across anything 10R plus, I will swing for the hills. And I will miss. But all I need is a 1 in 10 hit and I'm in profit. So, I mean, personally, I'm planning eventually. Well, I'll very quickly put 10% of my net worth into crypto, but I would like more. I really would. Providing that doesn't affect my cash flow. So I'm being very pessimistic, saying 1% of all this is going to enter cryptos. So,
Siam, do you have an educated guess on what you think Ether might reach based on the same calculations with regards to kind of market share and?
No, I don't know. I don't. I just don't know.
It just seems really badly gauged, and from what Habib said and what you said, and it makes sense. It's quite badly gauged against Bitcoin, and it seems it's probably going to grow substantially against it by comparison, particularly as it's much more usable. Yeah,
exactly. So when you're looking at the Ether Bitcoin chart, it's all the way down here at the moment, and I see Ether coming all the way back up here. So, but whatever price, but this is obviously a ratio, so that has nothing to do with price. Because what could happen is that Ether could stay at the same price and Bitcoin go to 0, and that ratio will go up. Or what's more likely to happen is that Bitcoin will go up, but Ether will go up faster.
I fully agree with what you just said, but in the very long run, Ether will one day be replaced by something else.
I agree. I 100% agree. Yeah. Because
and that's why Bitcoin can get the telephone number figures for value.
Yes.
Ether will track it up while Ether is the best thing going, and it's not yet the best thing going, but it will be the best thing going.
Yeah. I think Ether is going to be Alta Vista equivalent.
Right.
So Alta Vista was at one point the world's biggest internet search engine. I remember Alta Vistaing. And then guess what happened? Google came along. And we don't know who Google is. Is this Cardano? I don't know. Is it going to be some sort of hyperledger type thing, or hash graph, or like the tech Ether has is actually quite shit compared to some of these DAGs out there, these directed acyclic graphs. So what we do know is that the future of whatever it will be, it has to be a DAG. It has to, because of the scalability, and especially when we have the Internet of Things. So we have, basically, you have the Internet of Things, which will then be the Internet of everything. So, and that Ether cannot ever look at, or I can't say ever, but at the moment it is nowhere near to looking at being even capable of entertaining Internet of Things, Internet of everything.
I'm not a techie person, but if you were devising Ether today, you wouldn't start from Ether, would you?
God no. You'd start from scratch. You'd start from, at a minimum, what Hashgraph is using, or basically a DAG. So you need unlimited transactions, unlimited scalability. As a bare minimum. And what you'll find with most of these DAGs is that the more users it has, the more efficient and faster and cheaper the network becomes. So, and this is why if you look at the IMF is working with Hyperledger, and Hyperledger is the DAG. So, yeah. So you're completely spot on, Chris. I'm looking at this ratio. When Ether gets back up here, it's in its prime, blah, 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 I want to get into Bitcoin. I think Bitcoin is digital gold. I know it's a cliche now, but I do believe that. And I'm just waiting for the Google. And as I said in other thing, moving all over the place, like in every sector, whatever it may be, there'll be, privacy coins, social networks, or blah, blah, blah. There is always 2 to 3 leaders in every single network. Mobile phones, what is there? There's Apple, there's Android, or the iOS, Android. That's about it really. There's 2 there. What about social media platforms? Right now it's what, Twitter, LinkedIn, Facebook, and you've got these up and comers, you know, Instagram, TikTok, and all that lot. Like every single industry out there, there's always 2 to 3 leaders. Aviation, okay, Boeing, Airbus, Lockheed, yeah, and cryptos will be the same thing. So eventually, I want to, you know, get into, you know, get my good old holding in Bitcoin, and then when I start seeing these newcomers, or, you know, who are going to be the leaders in each one, then I'd like to. And then eventually, all you're doing is just setting up. You're going to become your own tracker. And if you look at, you know, a low-cost ETF tracker on the S&P 500, they will have a mix of whatever. Rob, are you still? Which Rob is this? Is it Feidler? Sorry, we've got so many Robs these days. Cool. Are you still planning on buying Tesla shares if they pull back? Yeah, I am. I think when stocks roll over, Tesla will as well. Also, I do not want to get into the whole shenanigans or whatever of COVID, but let's just, we still cannot rule out the possibility that there may be the second spike, because, you know, everyone's relaxing, blah blah. There could be, whether you believe it or not, I don't care. It's irrelevant whether it's true or it's not true. All that matters is what the news is projecting, because what the news projects, the mass public believes. So if there is, you know, a second spike and everything gets shut down and we're all going lockdown again, etc., that'll be just another excuse for the stocks to roll over. So, like, yeah, it wouldn't surprise me if we had something like that. We've got a picture. Jason Bonner. Here we go. What is this? One day I'm going to download a file like this and it's going to be something. You like dags? Yes, I do. So, I think, yeah, should we call it a day?
Yeah, thanks, Simon. That's really good.
Cool. I hope that's helped. It's been an hour 25, yeah.
Yeah, cool. Thanks, I am.
That's all the time.
Cool. Yeah, thanks, everyone. There were, how many are there? Oh, there's 40 of us. Nice. So, right, I will.
Yeah, kind of.
Cool. I will. Yeah. Thanks, everyone. I will see you all soon, and yeah, I guess I'll release part 2 of that video. So, see ya.